What is going on, guys? It is MadMan Plant. We are here back in the podcast studio for another wonderful podcast. And today we are going to be smoking on some good stuff. I have the purple marmalade, which is the what I was growing last time. So we had the cherries Zalito by Cookies, which I've been smoking on. Then we had the Creature Panic, which was on the left side, and then the purple marmalade by Soulfire is what I'm going to be smoking on tonight. So tonight I have some talking points here that I want to go over and some good conversation for you guys. So you said that you cannot hear. Can you hear me now? Welcome the 410 Grow. What's up, a Hazy Garden? I'm also going live on the Smokebusters Instagram page. So since we're doing the podcast right now, figured it's only fitting. So today it's been a long day. I was filming earlier today with one of my clients, and now I'm here. And then this weekend, I'm getting ready for the Grand Banquet, which is a Masonic banquet, since I'm a Freemason, which I'm going to be taking some pictures and hopefully doing some podcasts there with some of the brothers. So that'll be cool. And then I've been working on my garden, and I actually learned a little bit, which I'm going to talk to you guys about, something to watch out for when you're nuding and using pH up and down, because I had an experience I want to talk about. I even made some videos, so I'm going to show that off of what's going on. But yeah, it's going to be a good night, and I'm pretty excited to be here because I just love what I do, and I love creating content. And I think that's the biggest thing, is when you love what you do, that's the key to everything, because that's when the magic truly happens. So like I said, I have the purple marmalade right here, and it smells so good. And let's go ahead and just take a look at my beautiful garden here. Wait, this is not how it was supposed to go. Wait, there's how it's supposed to go. So we have the 4x8 going on. This is the Booty Clapper. So the Booty Clapper is by Capulator, and it is doing fantastic. And what I was talking about, and I'll show you the couple videos here in succession on Google Drive here. Give me a second here. Is the fact that, so I use a 1-part nutrient line, and that 1 part is great because you only need to mix 1 item in. It's literally 1 tablespoon or teaspoon per gallon of water. So it really works out nice, and it's called Scientetics. And I was showing it off at the last podcast on Sunday, and I love it. It's great. However, recently I've been noticing that when I go to pH, I get like a cloud-like form. Now, I was using like a heavy concentrated pH, and what would happen would be it would suspend the materials, and it would literally create like kind of like a goo, not like so much of goo, like I don't know, it kind of looks like algae at the bottom, right? And it's all the nutrients being suspended and then falling to the ground. So I went to hydroculture today, and I was talking with Matt, and he told me that I should dilute the pH. So what I did is, per his recommendation, got a water bottle, did half and half of water, half and half of pH, and then I still experienced the foggy water. It turns like kind of like a bluish color. Now, when I walked away from it and came back, it was actually normalized. So I'm not exactly sure what was happening at that point. The plants, as you can see, don't seem to really mind it or look like they're being affected. So I'm kind of going with that kind of aspect, because each day everything is looking fucking bigger. And with the autopots and how everything is going directly to the autopots at that same time, that's the benefit, is the plant's getting what it wants when it needs it, right at that moment. So there's no delay in what the plant is getting. And I just want to make sure as we're going in, because we're about to hit week 4 flower. So we got about 4 weeks left, and or longer depending on how these go. And they're already turning out monsters. And as you can see, we're just in the beginning weeks of week 3 here. And really nice sized bud sides here. Everything is a really even color. It looks very nice. I have no tip burn. Everything is skirted underneath, so there's plenty of airflow. I also dialed down the humidity, so I got that down to about 55, 60 right here. Perfect for flower. Opening it up, I did a little bit of defoliation in the front, which is You can't really see, it's kind of hard to, but I did, just to open up more fan sites because I have an intake blowing air in the bottom, then I have a exhaust taking air out. So it's working pretty nicely. So with that being said, I'm going to show you what I was talking about here with the suspension of nutrients. And let's see here. All right. Give me a second here. All right. So let's go here. So this is the first one. I don't know why it's glitchy. Hold on. So it's causing the chemical reaction. So with that being said, I went ahead and I diluted it. So you can just take what Matt was saying at hydroculture, just pretty much a water bottle, and then put half and half. This way, it doesn't have the acidity, and it allows it to neutralize a little bit more before hitting the system. Because depending on what's the chemical makeup is, bam. And then going along, I found out that I have fungus gnats or soil gnats or whatever you call them. And I found them because the lights had just came on because I was working in the dark here. So I put down some yellow sticky traps and within seconds caught them. But that's why I said, it's always good to look at your garden. Those I'm not as worried about. Thankfully, I don't have thrips, I don't have spider mites, I don't have russet mites, so I will take these gnats over it. But one of the things that you do notice here is all right. So you can see how everything's skirted. Make sure that there's plenty of room, plenty of penitentiary. And then also too, this helps with the humidity because it's not going to lock in. And then because I defoliated, it allows that air, and you can see the intake coming in, and that's pumping in fresh air from the outside inside. And then so we did have issue again, which I'm going to show you, and then I'll show you how it turned out. So that's the blue stuff that I'm talking about that happens in the reservoir. And I'm not exactly your sound has cut out. Can you guys hear me? Yes or no? Testing 1, 2, 3. It says I'm good on the sound. Oh, excuse me. Can you guys not hear me? Oh, you're saying sound on the video. Yes, there should be sound on the video. Hold on for a second. Share screen. Bam. All right, let's try this one. All right. All right, we got everything spinning. I'm going to put some pH up in, and it's still creating a cloud. Can you hear the sound? All right, very nice. Welcome, Curly Greenleaf. All right, so here we go. And this is with the diluted rate. Now, let's see if the cloud stays or goes. Let's see what this is first. Drop this in here. And you'll notice that with Scientetics, it's going to drop the pH way down, usually like 4.7. Right, everything's spinning. I'm going to put some pH up, add a little bit more in. So I'm going to add more, and you're going to see that you'll see that it goes away, but it'll soon come back and stay. Now, this time, it didn't create the debris field that fell to the bottom. Have here 5.2, 5.0. I also am making a reel out of this, so you're seeing the different stages of the reel making. 5.2. Now, the only thing that I didn't like about diluting the pH is it was a bitch to get it up to speed there because it took a lot. That's your nutrients dropping out. That's why it went cloudy. Yep, you're 100% right. And talking about the suspension loss because of everything mixing too hard with each other. And that's what I was the problem that I was trying to solve. And here, I'll show you. Let's see here. And see, this is where we have it. And that's what I'm trying to figure out too. Now, it did go back to completely see-through again. So I don't know if it's like came to a rest, but this is what it looked like. And that's what I'm trying to figure out because I'm just trying to figure out because those are two different nutrient lines. That's General Hydroponics. And the other one is a different brand, which is a way more like heavy gauge, like you really, even in a 10-gallon reservoir like that, you only really need a little droplets for it to spike up, where the General Hydroponics usually takes a little bit more delayed. You can put more into it. What's up, Spanish Casey? And so what I'm trying to figure out is where the chemical reaction is happening, because what I did is I take a jar like this, and I put water in it, usually warm or hot water. Then I put my scoops of nutrients. I shake it to the point where I can't see any more like cloudiness or buildup of the actual nutrient powder. Then I pour it directly into the system, stir it up, and then I go with the pH. I'm wondering if maybe I need to wait a little bit, let it the nutrient rest for a second, then put the pH like 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later to avoid this, because I'm just not as sure how two different pHs and their different chemicals and all that jazz are having the same result. But my plants, as you can see, they don't seem to be mattering. I mean, they seem to be pretty fucking happy. Everything is praying, as you can see right there. I mean, everything looks really, really nice, even colors, and even the underside. Now, there are a couple little yellow leaves, but now we are, like I said, going into week 3.5 of flowers. So that's going to be expected. I would say, is that fade comes in, and most of it is going to fade. Like if you saw my last harvest, I mean, it was red, the color of this cup. And I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it looked like a maple leaf tree, not a cannabis plant. So yeah, so the suspension and everything either breaking down or something that's going on. Milky, we're at 6.0. And I usually do about 6.2 to 6.5 on the milky. We're at 6. Let's see here. And then right now, this is what it looks like. So in my last video, I showed that it was still cloudy. Well, I left the room, came back about an hour later, and as you can see the bottom there, everything looks really good now. So I'm not sure if it was because I didn't give it enough time in between, but the reservoir is clean and it's not cloudy anymore. So definitely using the pH, having that diluting your nutrients. But if everything goes well and the plants are happy, we're looking good, guys. So maybe it was just because I did not have the opportunity to let it sit. And yeah, so you can see straight to the bottom. Looks good. All right, checking in. We'll follow up with this and figure out what's really going on. So so that's what I'm dealing with. And I'm on week 3, probably going into week 3.5 right now. So by the end of this week will be week 4. So, and they're doing really good. Like I said, if you see them even on the development side, I mean, everything has just like really sped up. I mean, when I went to New York, I had just flipped these. And when I came back, I mean, I can show you the photos of when they were all like bent down. These are actually all high stress trained. So all of these branches on the lower sides are actually bent in 90-degree angles and all have knuckles on them. And then these are the tops that came up when they did the stretch. So that stretch helped me because a couple of them are just barely growing into the light, but that 90-degree angle and then letting them re-come up has done wonders because everything's just straight cola. I mean, the stacking on some of these are just like straight all the way down. So it's going to be really nice. So I'm really excited about it. But yeah, that's my little garden problem that I've been working on lately, is trying to figure out why that's happening. And I use Scientetics and I use the General Hydroponics. Maybe there's a better pH out there if anybody has a recommendation. I'm not really partial to any. I just have been using it because that's what I have on hand. And that's what I'm trying to look at is like, is anybody face that? Does anybody have cloudiness in their system as well? So let's smoke some shit real quick. Oh. I was hoping my new hat would get here, but it hasn't gotten here yet. You guys are going to like it when you see it. Also, make sure you guys mark your calendars because I will give you a little piece of the pie here. May is our next event coming up. So mark your calendars for May. It is going to be an awesome event. And this one has a strong, it will have cannabis focus, but this is actually more on a broader spectrum because we're trying to bring in even larger crowds. So what we have planned for you, me and GI, is going to be pretty fucking awesome. So if you guys aren't paying attention, you're going to be missing out. And it's going to be here in Fredericksburg. So it's going to be an awesome, awesome time. So I want you guys to definitely pay attention because this event is going to be definitely something awesome. So we have that coming up. Oh, this is fun. That's so fucking good. All right, we're gonna do a hand rolled joint, like different styles. Sometimes I like prefer like a pre-rolled where I use the roll machine, and then sometimes I prefer to go old school. Tonight we're gonna go old school, starting with our raw papers here. What I need to do is get a zoom control so I can zoom in and angle where I'm at. We're going to be getting some new camera setups here coming soon. So it's going to be pretty awesome. Especially when we're on the road and we're doing lives and everything. Put that in there. All right. Right. No, we light it. Very nice. I honestly prefer a hand rolled joint over the roll machine because see the problem with the roll machine is it packs it very tight. And sometimes when you start the joint in the beginning, it can be very difficult till you get to like the medium or the end. And it seems there's like some magic way with joints and blunts where it gets like halfway to the end, it just packs a punch when you hit it. Sometimes in the beginning it doesn't, but I've noticed that when I've been hand rolling these lately, they just come out a lot better and way more airflow. So fucking good. Tastes delicious. All right. So yeah. So with the booty clapper, this was on a like about a 4.5 week veg period and then went right into flower. So I've been practicing my perpetual grow and I've gotten it down pretty well. And I like it because every 9 to maybe 12 weeks max, I want to be harvesting. You know, Gronomics, if you want to join, let me know. I can get you on here. I can send you a link. Just tell me yes or no. Or you can just honestly just join in the background because you have access because you're a mod. And the perpetual grow is awesome. For the first time in my life, I got so much weed that I don't have to worry about like waiting for this harvest. Sometimes I'm literally counting down the buds. Like I'm like, all right, well, you can smoke this much this day, and you got to conserve this much. Not that drastic, but there's times where we're like playing beat the clock. We're like, come on, harvest, and it's just nice to be weed rich, if you will, and just be able to have things. If I want to make edibles, I can make edibles. If I want to press stuff for my dabs, I can press stuff. Like I just have the ability to be able to cook with it, eat with it, do all these different things that are intended with the plant. And that's one of the beauties of this, is like being able to do that. Is like, hey, you know what? I want to make some fire edibles. Great, bring it out. Oh man, what would be cool if I made some butter sauce to go on that, that steak, blah, 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 blah. Perfect. All these different opportunities that kind of allow you to thrive, if you will, in different arenas. Because honestly, with cannabis being so good for like, helping with cancer and doing all these other things, helping people sleep better. Oh, you're still cooking. GI. Yeah, me and GR were on Discord earlier, and then his wife had to come home, and he's like, oh, that is my sign to start cooking. So, and that was almost an hour ago. But GI is the chef. And speaking of which, like I said, you are not going to want to miss me and GI's next event. It is going to be awesome. Look, there is Lacey in the house. Lacey, why don't you come over here? You don't have to be on camera, but let's get a hello for the camera. We get you a mic real quick. Yeah.
Let me talk again. Hello, everyone.
What else you got for them?
That's all I got right now.
That's sad. You got to talk like me for at least 3 hours by yourself in a basement. Are you even watching the live, Lacey?
I was trying to listen to my videos first.
You better be watching my live, or I'm going to ban you from the page. You will no longer be allowed to be here. It'll be just me. Let's change the logo real quick. Boom. So yeah, everybody remembers this awesome logo with me, GI, and the zombie. Well, our new logo is going to be even better. So you just wait. This event is going to be kick ass. I can guarantee you and promise you that. Like, it is going to be a killer event, and it's definitely going to be something that you're not going to want to miss. And it's just getting better, And also, we're going to have the MadMan Plant Barbecue Smokeout 2 this year. And that's going to be coming up. And then also, for those who don't know, MJ BizCon, we will be there. And then Oklahoma for the Oklahoma Cup. Wait, no, the Cowboy Cup. I don't know why I keep saying Oklahoma, because it's in Oklahoma. Yep. And with that being said, I am speaking at the Cowboy Cup. We have our booth at the Cowboy Cup, and it is going to be an awesome time. And if you haven't been to the Cowboy Cup, it's a party, and it's really well put together. Daniel and Greg are good friends of mine. They're the owners, and they put on one hell of a show. And this is my second time being there. The show's gone on for a little bit, I think way longer than that. And it's just a really good place to network, smoke, and really get to meet a lot more of the community. Because one thing is, when we're online, it's cool. Like, it's cool to be online. That's great. Everybody's online. The problem is, we need to build relationships and focus on things that are not always just online. And I think a lot of people do this doom scrolling, and that you see different things, people getting their feelings and all this jazz. And the reality is, when you connect with people, it's totally different. And the level of connection we had here when we had everybody at this house, cooking all that meat, working together, there was 10 to 12 people that were really hustling, to get this event going, and everything that was needed. There was a lot of work that went into that barbecue event. It took a lot, and we all pulled it off, and it was an amazing event, and we did amazing things. I mean, $2,600 for breast cancer. I mean, that is terrific. I mean, that's my first time putting an event together with this. Me and GI worked our asses off, got this money raised, did an amazing thing for the community. And it is just awesome to be able to do this now again. And one thing about that is, when you get to go places, like if you guys get the opportunity, go to MJ BizCon, see what the professional side of business is, because it's way different than the little Instagram world. And that's what we have to remember is, there's opportunities here, but there's bigger opportunities in the real world. And to be able to capitalize on that and to really, be able to say, hey, this is what I want to do in the community. And then this is how I'm going to go make that impact. And I think that's the biggest thing is, getting inspired and passionate about whatever it is that you want. We all love cannabis. Okay, well, how could cannabis, and you take you and your idea to that next level? How could you become the next pioneer of this industry? And it's through our conversations, it's through us just being present, it's us working on our avatars or, personas or brands or whatever you want to call it. And the value of that is just so great. And those are two great events. MJ BizCon is like the grand slam of B2B cannabis events. I mean, they have over 1,000 vendors. You can be there 3 days and you still will not see and do everything. It is just a whirlwind, just so many people, so many companies. And you really get to see the big side, the really that $57 billion industry side of cannabis. And that's, a great place to be because that's where the money is. That's where the ideas are. That's where the people that have really put their money on the line to be there to really show off and show what they have available for us, the consumers and people that are in business. I mean, you have your hedge fund guys, your angel investors, your big bankers, your owners, your founders, your nonprofits. I mean, your brands, your reps, your distributors, your wholesalers. I mean, just everybody is there. And to be able to make those connections is just so important. And that's why, it's more about your contributions. Kind of like John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And it's kind of like this, ask not what the community can do for you, but what you can do for the community by being a member, by being active, by being persistent and consistent. Because that's really the ultimate key here is, can you stay with it? Can you keep going? It's one thing to get a bunch of followers, it's another thing to make an impact that really has value and merit that can really help change people's lives. Because in the end, I really believe that cannabis changes people's lives. You have people who have left addiction. You have people that have had severe trauma. You have had people who just couldn't sleep at night. And then this worked better than the sleeping pills that they were prescribed. You have people that have cancer that are being able to eat and enjoy and deal with nausea just because of cannabis. There's just so many different layers and fabrics woven into the plant. And the value is it's supposed to bring us together, but in ways it divides us. And this community can be jaded sometimes. And that's just a reality of the situation. I think, but more of it's just like in masonry is cannabis is your own independent journey with the plant. At the end of the day, you're the one growing your plant, you're the one growing your garden, and that is it between you and your garden type thing. And I think when you start to think about it, it's an individualized path, like, and there's nobody on my path. It's just me and my path. You can stay a little bit more level headed and you don't get lost in the noise and the feelings and the emotions of what's really going on. And I think a lot of it comes from, a lot of this is around business skills and, being able to work with different types of people and understand different types of people, because cannabis has the ability to bring all different types of cultures, backgrounds, ailments, all the things that we deal with as humans. And when we look at it in a very vulnerable state where it's more practical in the sense of healing and the future of why this should be socially accepted and appreciated, we have to look at all platforms and facets of what the community really is. And that's why there's a lot of people who feel ostracized, or maybe they don't know enough, or maybe they feel like they don't have enough to bring to the table. And this is a plant where you don't have to be anything. It's kind of like a dog or an animal who loves you unconditionally. Cannabis loves you unconditionally in the sense that it's always, if you think that it works for you, it works for you. If with ADHD, anxiety, depression, all of that, this definitely works for me. It puts me in my zone. It calms me down. It relaxes me. It allows me to vibe. It really takes the edge off of life sometimes. So for me, I want to be an advocate to say to other people that, if it can work for me, it works for you, and maybe it's true. Now, cannabis is not for everybody, and that's okay. Neither is alcohol. But the ability to encourage others to learn more, to get comfortable more, allows us as users to one day have that peace where we could go outside of any restaurant right before we're about to eat, light a joint, smoke it, people walking by, nobody gives a shit, because you know why? People love weed because they appreciate its benefits. And then be able to go right back into that restaurant and eat our food without having to worry about getting a ticket, depending on what state we are, or if it's even legal, or all this dumb stuff. And I think it really falls on the lifeline of the science, the education, the human experience. Because, when you talk about like sales and marketing, we're talking about like emotions and experience. What is the person experience? What creates value? What is value for whatever arena that we're in? And I think the biggest thing is, like I was saying earlier, is everybody's own independent journey with cannabis. However they use it is the value that they find in it, for whatever relief. And when we talk about, well, what's medical cannabis? I believe that medical cannabis, in my opinion, is cannabis that helps alleviate any type of, symptoms. So, if your medical cannabis helps you sleep better at night, that's your, medicinal purpose, and I think a lot of times we get tied up, and especially the outside world that are not growers, with the difference between homegrown and then medical, and the fact that medical just means it helps alleviate symptoms and that it works for whatever you're going with or ailment, not the fact that there's some sprinkled powder on top of the weed that makes it medical grade. It really, it's just a term, for, patients essentially, more geared towards like, the dispensaries than it is towards us as home growers. Because to me, it's all medical. I'm using my medicine right now on the podcast. I just about to smoke it out of my bong. So that's my food for thought on that. My little tangent here. Well, the next round, once this is done, we'll be switching back to the grow room and then doing the grow room. And then when that's done, we'll go back to the grow tent, and then we'll do one and then the other, because I want to show the different styles. And I'm real excited because I'm thinking about doing a living soil, because I started in living soil. So when I first started growing, I used Detroit Nutrients Great Lakes water only soil, which was really good. Never had any problems with it. And I did really good. I used Gaia Green. I've used Roots Organics for a long time. I've used a lot of different products and stuff like that. I like Gaia Green the most, one because and Foop is really good too. Gaia Green, I think I like the smell of it, especially when you go to top dress, and the ability to just be able to just pour it right on there, 1 cup per gallon, mix it in. We put some worm castings on it, and then go ahead, and we had some beautiful plants. But as I've gotten into the perpetual grow, I just like the back to back, and because I'm pressing my stuff, because I like dabs, because I'm making my own edibles, so I, have it in my food, it does require a lot, you know what I mean? And that's one of the benefits of, being able to make your own, versus like if you were to have to go to the dispensary and then buy all this weed to make edibles, That would be a shit ton of that. I mean, a shit ton of money. But, we have the ability to use our trim and then put that trim right into the brownies plus real nugs. So it's going to spice it up. And I think that's one of the benefits too, is like you have so many options with the plant. And if you were able to even break it down more, I mean, the true benefits of the cannabis, and the recyclable material, especially when we talk about like fibers and, composites and different things that, everything can be made. What's up, Gromy Talk? How's it going, my dude? You're welcome to hop on the podcast if you want. I sent you a message earlier if you want to jump on. And that's why at my event we had Scraps talking about bio waste and breaking down that material and how to reuse that, and you get really like just like a hunter would use every part of the animal out of respect. It's just like we would use every part of the cannabis plant. So my goal would be to figure out a way to just be able to recycle that material, and then that go ahead and makes papers, and makes buildings, it makes clothing, it makes oils, it makes textiles. I mean, just I think cannabis alone, the plant itself, hemp, could make over 5,000 different products. So that is pretty fucking amazing when you think of 5,000 products that you could offer somebody, all from hemp. You know what I mean? Hemp is stronger fiber than concrete. I mean, it's better than concrete. I mean, think about it, like, and it's also fireproof, for housing and stuff like that. There's a lot of cool things that are going on that I really think that in the future, once we get past the taboo and the stigma, we can really kind of press forward, because I really think as we drive towards the world and resources, it would alleviate a lot. Plus, it would give more opportunity for growing. So that is one of the benefits that I definitely see, is how weed eventually will save the world. Because see, during World War II, we had hemp for victory, because the United States government thought that cannabis was good, and they used it during World War II. And then after the war, it went bad again to reefer madness, to like late 50s and everything like that. Back in the day, in the early days around World War II, there was actually a tax law that encouraged farmers to grow hemp. So, it just has a long interwoven battle. And I think what we really see is the fact that alcohol, because we had the prohibition on alcohol. Remember, they were looking for alcohol, cutting, giant holes in barrels, and looting it out on the street and smuggling it in and all this other stuff. And yet we still have alcohol today, and it seems to be under control for the most part, even though there's how many millions of dollars in accidents in the workplace and on the road, and in when we talk about mental health related to suicide, death, poisoning, ruined livers. But hey, cannabis that wouldn't do that to you. No, we're still not convinced. And I think that's like the most fucked up part, is it's like, hey, cigarettes, this may contain, cancer causing, blah, 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 California state, blah, 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 whatever it says. Cannabis, not going to hurt you. Nope, 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 nope. Whoa, buddy. Let's not go there. And this brings me back to when I was at a friend's party last Halloween, and this person got belligerently drunk, and she fell down the stairs. And during the party, I had asked her, hey, can I go smoke outside? And she responded and said, yeah, that's totally fine, but try to keep it away from the kids, because I don't want them to know you're smoking. And I'm like, but you're belligerently drunk. You fell down the stairs. You made a mess of all the food, and you're worried about your kids seeing me smoke a joint, but it's you, the parent, who they're witnessing. And she said to me that, Stefan, if people find out I'm a drunk, that's kind of like a standard. Nobody really cares about alcohol, but cannabis isn't there yet. And I was just like, damn, you're the problem. You're exactly the problem because you'll justify this type of behavior. You can't even take care of yourself. I'm high as shit, totally good, about to drive later to go home, but yet society has the taboo that I'm doing something crazy while they're losing their shit. You know what I mean? It's just interesting to me how the world works. I don't think sometimes it always works on logic. I think sometimes it works on opinion, feeling, um, thought. Like I think this, so this must be true, type thing. And sometimes I really just wonder, like, huh? All right, somewhere, somehow, this makes sense, right, honey? Right, honey? Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Honey's so fucking gorgeous. Honey has been on almost 30 airplanes this year. She'll be following up her last airplanes heading out to Vegas and Oklahoma for the year. We got LA, California, American Autoflower Cup coming up. Bam, bam. That's going to be good. Also, if you're in the Virginia area, November 30th, I will be at Fire on the Mountain with my podcast booth and doing interviews, hanging out, and we're going to be doing it live. So it's going to be awesome. You can tune right into YouTube, but that's going to be awesome. It is awesome how everything is just coming together. And then in February, I plan to go out to see Gronomics in Arizona. So that's going to be awesome. And then we have the road show coming up, which this road show is going to be a little bit different because this year I'm also buying a house. So I have a lot of things going on. Plus, my business has been very, very busy lately. So that's why I've been honestly gone. Because I just have a lot going on outside of this. Because, see, MadMan Plant is like a portion of kind of what I do, you know. And it's also one of our companies, but my bigger portion is outside of cannabis. And that's where I really do a lot of my energy spending. So, you know, this is more like my fun time, me getting to be creative. You know, when I work with people, sometimes I don't always have the creative ability to say, this is what we should do. Sometimes, in a lot of instances, when you do production, you're working, you know, kind of under guidelines of what they want. So it's bringing their vision to life where this is my vision. So, you know, I get to play here and have a good time. And that's why I love this. I mean, to me, this is a passion. This is an energy. This is something that I truly enjoy. Plus, the impact that I have is going to be awesome. Can't wait to be home and smoke a bowl. Yeah. And I'm like I just told people, I'm going to come visit you in February. Mm-hmm. All right. For those who don't know, this is by MJ Arsenal. This is the summit. You can check this out on my video on YouTube. I have a full video on this exact bong. It's awesome. It says, hold on. I need glasses. I'm getting old. It says, fact, I can smoke 30 blunts with dabs and still be in control, but drink more than 5 shots, lose with a constant feeling to pee and not fully in control. You should see a doctor about that. I'm just kidding. And that's funny. Yeah, and then Grummy Talks having looks I saw on Facebook or Instagram today that you're having a getaway coming up. So it looks like I'll be coming in May, but we have our event in May. So you might want to come down to our event and then have your event. Bomb. Oh shit! See what I'm talking about? Fucking stoner. I just said I was gonna take a bong rip, and I fucking loaded a joint. God damn it! All right, here we go. Honey, shut up. All right, so Moose Labs filter, get the heavy hit, heavy flavor. All right, MJ Arsenal bottle, go down. That's movie quality based sound effects for free. You're welcome. Oh yeah, Derek. But I am pretty happy. I'm really hoping to get another 3.89 pounds off this tent. That is my goal, to make it to 4 pounds on the 4x8. Because if I can do that in a 9 to 12 week period, I think that's pretty fucking good. Just saying. And not that I really count my weight because it's just me that smokes it. But it would be cool to be like, no, bam, that tent, I could easily do this. And then it's also cool to see the gauge. And like I said, we're all on our independent journey. That was a lot. That was the first time I've ever done that much off of a garden before. And I've done way less before. I've had a lot of trial and errors. So it's one of those things where you get to witness yourself just get a little bit better, get a little bit better, get a little bit better, and then burn them. You know what I mean? So it's just cool, and everything looks really nice. Now, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get on the cam and show you guys what's going on here. So, invite myself. No, son of a bitch. This wasn't going to be easy. I knew this wasn't going to be easy. No, I was kidding. So what happens when you have two computers and I use the other one more often? It's like, fuck, I'm not logged in on this one. All right. Yes, that's me trying to log in. Yes, me trying to log in. Always use a two-way authenticator. Saves you from people trying to hack your account and do stupid stuff. All right, here. Give me a second. Skip that. All right. All right. Is that getting me popped in? And I'm also gonna. Ooh. It's a little annoying, isn't it? All right. So now, sure. All right. And we're gonna go solo on that. And give me 2 seconds. All right. So the first thing I want to do, take you over to the Abbey. Now I've been using Scientetics on it because it's just a lot faster than the nutrients from Abbey were working. So they're cool. but I need extra strength. Whoa! And as you can see, everything is going really, really nice here. And we got tons of roots. Bam! And everything is looking good. Now, those little orange things, I'm going to have to find out what those are on the roots here. I'm also going to probably give it some hygrozyme here, help clean that up, but looking really good. Really spreading out. So, and then I'll also be cleaning out the water here as well. Bam, bam. So we got that going on. And then that's where I'm sitting, honey. So as you can see, reservoir completely clear. So not exactly sure what happened earlier, but it looks like it's still loving life. So in here, as you can see, we got some really happy plants. Everything is going up really nice. And you can see here too, everything is really starting to come into play. And soon we'll be creating all that nice crystal form. And I think these will be really good on the sugar leaves and have a lot of THC coming off these. But as you can see, only still just in week 3, they're looking really nice and stacking up. One thing I do like about it is the stack, as you can see going up, it's pretty even all the way. So I'm hopefully looking at giant colas. Shroom, shroom. So and then we'll go on this side. And luckily it just stopped like right there. So, that's pretty awesome. But yeah. And then as I said, everything is knuckled over. So as you can see, they're all hard angles, most of them all the way over. So I pretty much just high stress trained them and then went right into flower, and it turned out really nice. And as you can see, very, very clean. So Doyle, good to have you on here. We were vegging for about 4 weeks with these, and then we flipped the flower. These came in all as clones. So the idea with the perpetual cycle is the idea that you veg for a short period of time, flip the flower, and then go right next to the next cycle. So these haven't been here that long because I just harvested around September. Um, I think it's like September 20th or whatever is when I harvested. So it wasn't a very long time. And then we're right back in the saddle. Yeah. I love when they're praying and everything is up and looking really perky. And that's one thing I love about the plants. They're like, yes. And the auto pot system is just truly a dream. Having it gravity fed when I was gone in New York, I didn't have to worry about my plants at all. I kept looking them online and they just kept growing so fast. I was just like, God damn. So the autopots are definitely for a win. Like I am a huge believer in them. I think that it's a great design, and like I just It's just nice. You do not have to worry about your plants. You just got to worry about that reservoir, which is easy to take care of, and you're good. So, yep, it's going to turn out really nice. Very nice. All right. So yeah, no, the garden is very happy, and I'm happy about it. So yeah, it's just looking really good. And that's the thing. It's just like the next run I have coming up, which will be upstairs. So we're gonna switch. So I won't be doing the tent anymore. I'll just be doing the upstairs, and that's going to be with the GI genetics, and we're doing the tropical trooper, and I'll be visiting um Farmer Freeman to go to his lab, and we're going to test all his his regulars right away, so I know which ones are male and female, and then we're going to focus on those, and then we're going to see what some GI genetics tropical trooper looks like, and I'm really excited about that. So that'll be my next run, and then right now, like I said, I still have my Carrie's Little, my Purple Marmalade, my Creature Panic. I'm almost out of my Strawberry Cadillac finally. Um, let's see here, whatever. That's pretty much all I have right now. But like I said, um, I really love that perpetual grow. I mean, it is cool because see, the problem is, depending on how you grow, you may harvest twice a year. You can harvest more a year. And for me, as a chronic smoker, I just need to have a lot. And that's the whole reason I was trying to grow weed is I didn't want to have to pay to have a lot of weed, and it's expensive, especially at dispensaries. You know what I mean? Having to go there and then all of that jazz when I know what's in it. I have more love and care, just like all you guys do, into that plant than anybody else that I know, unless they were really in love with the plant like we are, would have. And the fact that, like, to me, it's like you guys, a therapy. It's an ability to be with these plants and just get away from the real world and just allow your emotions and your vibes to cool just all through nature. And that's one of the things is weed has taught me to love for like nature and plants, and just thinking things are more cool. I used to think gardening was for old people till I started growing weed, and I'm like, no, this shit's amazing. So it's just one of those things. As we live and we learn, we just get older and wiser too, what's really in front of us. And it's just that's why this community is so much more about getting stoned. It's about the real benefits, the real values that people have on cannabis, and then how we connect that to the outside world. And I think that's the big vision there. So all right. So I'm gonna finish this joint because it tastes really fucking good. There we go. So what's everybody up to? What's new in people's worlds here? I know Grundonomics is in the house. We got Doyle on. Have you been on the podcast before? In the chat before? Transplanting? Are those you transplanting clones or seedlings? The only thing I wish I'd done is gotten some clones off the Booty Clapper because of how it's stacking, and I know how it's going to look. Other than that, sometimes I start from seeds. Honestly, a lot of people give me clones, so I don't really have to like really pop too many seeds. Now, I am, like I said, popping GIs coming up, which I was actually going to do tonight, and then I totally forgot about doing that. So right now, I do have in the hey Abby, I have the non-auto flowering fast. So it says it's funny. Orange sherbet fast flowering seeds, and these are going to be pretty awesome. And they say I can do 6 ounces out of the Abbey, and I want to see if I can extend that a little bit. I want to see if I can do more than that. Because I think my idea is to keep it low, so top at like maybe 3 to 4, or actually probably 4 to 6 branches, period, and then keep those moving. So I have an idea, which I'm going to show you guys, of how I'm going to rig this. But I think if you did it in a lateral sense where you really spaced out the bottom and let it come up, the device would get like maximize its potential, because the idea would be like to form what I used to do, and I can show you pictures, just like sides. So each side comes up, because what I used to do with a plant is now, because we're in a perpetual grow, you kind of just grow them like you would in a facility. So you just go straight up, and then you trellis, spread them up with the trellis, get a sea of green going, and then put the flower. With the way that I'm doing this is more the traditional technique, where it's more like the home grower style, where you're actually working with the plant, moving things. And what I would do is the first thing I do is bend over the plant and then create like this little S shape. But the problem when you do that is, and I'll show you pictures, is when you stake it like this, the plant will grow up the side. So now you're moving all of those branches that are coming up to the front and trying to go around. So the idea is you want to go up and then mainline it, or high stress train it to a 90-degree angle. So you're going to stop it from growing up, and now it grows to the sides, and now you can move those branches sideways, because if you redesign how the plant is growing up, you can manipulate a little bit better how the branches will come off. And some of my best plants, especially one of the autos that I can show you pictures of that I did, it was my very first auto. I think I did about like probably like 6 or 8 ounces off of it. And it was huge, and it was all staked down really nice. And I used to have a circular disc we sold on the website when I used to do 3D printing. And on the disc, it was designed to be zip tied down and spread everything out. But I really feel like when you maximize that lower end space, that's where the value of all the be able to get like the most out of it. Because the problem is, once the plant grows into the light or to the ceiling or whatever it is, unless it's outdoors, you are limited, and now the plant's only going to double that when you get in the flower. If you were to keep it low the entire time, and the only time like that, see, I bent everything over, and when I bent everything over, I flipped the flower immediately. So there was no recovery time. It was the plant just started going into stretching. And you can see how even with that being bent with the 90-degree angles, that I'm right under the light. You know what I mean? If I hadn't done that, I would have probably been through the light. But I was able to maximize that and then really let it space up. And then as it's going into flower, it's capping off. And then that's where, you can hopefully develop, nice even bud sites like we did in there. And then that's going to help carry those big giant colas all the way down. That's going to give you the value and the bud that you're looking for. So that's what I'm going to do with this one, is really focus on how low could I grow the plant until I have to go to flower. And I think, it might be some technique, but I think it would be pretty good. And that's why I encourage people to low stress train, and I talk about it. We used to sell the clips. Now we refer people to bud trainers because we're more of an education company now. And it's one of the things where when you manipulate the plant, I think that's when you have your most value with it. Now I do agree that there's points where the plant wants to be left alone, and the less you interfere with the plant, the better. And even with me, I really don't mess with the garden. I make sure the reservoir is good. I defoliate, I trellis when I need to, I move things around. But other than that, I'm not trying to overdo it, and I think that really helps too. So there's a balance of what you can do for the plant and then what the plant is actually going to do for itself type thing. So it's kind of my thought on the process there. But I think it'll be cool. And like 6 ounces would be a lot off of that. And I guess too is, the concentration of just like how well you could build those bud sites to be like super dense, and I think that also is a science too, by really understanding the plant and its values and, what's really going to drive that production. Because at the end of the day, I really think, you drive the ship. So it's going to work out nice. Yeah, bro. GI, is your website working? I was just going to pull it up and it says coming soon. All right. It's probably cooking. All right. So let's see here. So that's why you were on home. Well, damn, son. I was looking for the description of the tropical trooper because I know it's crossed with Maui Wowie and has a take on like the Hawaiian side, which is why I really want to run it, because I've done Maui Wowie and Acapulco Gold before, and they were both awesome. And I'm looking to do this because I really hope that it has kind of like maybe like a fruity kind of like flavor to it. And it looked really good in pictures. So I'm really excited to see what comes of the Tropical Trooper. And it's just a great name. So where can I find the description of it? GIGNETIX. Yep. Now the world will never know. Well, GI. No, I'm just kidding. You'll know from me when I grow it. It's gonna be awesome though. I'm gonna get those seeds probably started on Sunday. So I'll do like a little live germination. I use the paper towel method because I just prefer it and it's just really easy. All I do is puff of air, some warm water, and I literally throw it in the same cabinet that my cookies are in, literally. And I have always have a success rate. Sometimes I'll get them and they're like super long. So um, we're gonna get those started because I only have about we're going into week 3.5. By the end of the week, we will be into week 4, like 4 more weeks to maybe 6 more weeks. I doubt they're gonna go 10 weeks, but you never know. So I'm gonna be pretty excited about that, and then to get those down. I mean, we're running into this is pretty much like the last harvest of the year, and then the other ones will be carried over until January. So kind of like rounding up, we had 15 state tour, traveled a lot this year, which was so fucking cool. And we plan on doing it next year. We're having our own events. We're having 2 events this next year, me and GI. And then we also have a bunch of travel coming up. So it's just one thing after another, but it's always just pushing the ball forward. And that's what you really got to do in life, especially when times get tough or, even when things are going really well, you got to be engaged. You got to be focused because the moment you slip up is the moment you miss that opportunity. And then that opportunity just fades away and becomes a memory. And you want to maximize your imprint. You want to maximize the reach and your footprint around what you do, the resources, the abilities to really make things come to fruition. And I think that's the thing with a lot of people is a lot of people, they want to do great things, but they don't understand what it takes. And it says nobody will ever be jealous of what you did to get what you have. They'll only be jealous of what you have. And that's the thing is that nobody's going to be jealous of the work, the struggles, the long nights, the misunderstandings, just the people in general. Nobody is going to understand that. It's got to be an internal thought and just something that's inside that's so much greater that the outside world, it doesn't matter. What matters is who am I as a person and who are we as individuals becoming, and that's what you have to realize is it's much bigger than this. It's the ability to grow and develop our mindsets. And Lacey's on her way to get her psychology degree because she's going to be a therapist or a psychologist for the show, so she'll be an actual doctor essentially. And it's going to be awesome. But I've been listening to a lot of her classes and stuff. And with psychology, there's just so much to it, and it's just it all makes a lot of sense. Exactly how people act, the reason why we react, the difference on how we carry ourselves, the values that we have, the morals, all the things around that. And you know we're living here in the real world where things aren't perfect. Things happen, great things happen, miracles happen, there's such a spectrum of life that we're living in. And the fact is, it's still in all reality very short and limited. And and I think that's the biggest thing too, is realizing that it really doesn't go on forever. you know it's a time period where we have to understand that life is very limited, and even though it seems like forever, you know it's not. Even if you live to 100, you would only get 100 Christmases. Which you think at 100 Christmases, that's a lot of Christmases. But when you go through the years of, losing people, or, things changing, or all this other stuff, it becomes a very small spectrum to, understanding that, it's in the balance, and it can be good or bad, and I think that's the biggest thing is when we think about like legacy and what we leave behind, what will soon one day when we're no longer here, people think of, I think that's the biggest thing is I want, as an individual, and in my opinion, I want to leave an impact. I want to leave a footprint in this world where people can appreciate, and really understand the value that was brought forth, and the things that were done, just like all these other great people in the world who leave the world with a footprint and an impact. It's the ability to try to make the world a better place than you found it, type thing. And we all do that by the interactions and the abilities to connect with people, and the friendships we make, and the conversations we have, and it's a very valuable thing. And a lot of times, with just the way the world is, it seems like people are communicating less. People are just in a different place. And I think the reality is the authentic self, the genuine person, is appreciated. And I think in reality, we also live in our own kind of worlds where we're focused on what's going on in front of us. The outside world, unless it comes up on social media or you see it in a post or whatever, for me, with everything going on, it's just not really thought, and I think we're all like that. Like, go to a mall and just watch how many people just walk by, and either conversations or everything, just so oblivious to their surroundings because they're just all in their own worlds, connecting and doing different things and going different places. So I think it's human nature, but I also think that it's a conscious effort to try to make a relationship and try to be a friend to somebody, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's still just a very, very short journey and experience, because I think life is more about experiences, and what we get out of it. And that's why I think it's also so important for you to figure out what you want to put into it. Eh, I cleared the chamber. Tropical Trooper information is in my Discord. All right, let's go. What? Oh my goodness, it's a form. Do I have to fill this out? It says Discord wants access to my life. No Discord. No. Oh, fuck you. I don't I don't want your stupid software. I just want you to open the program. All right, give me a second. All right. Open with cool file viewer. Yeah. Open, son. Jesus Christ. Why does everything want me to pay? I just want to look at something, man. All right. Notepad. There we go. Open. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Jesus Christ. Where's Adobe Reader? Come here, you. All right. Well, I'll try 3 different ways to open it, and everything wants me to pay because this is a computer. It's just for the podcast, so it's not hooked up to my other account. So we will have to go through it on Sunday when I do the germination. Mhm. Let's see here. All right. We're going with the bong rip, and then I think we're going to roll another joint. Or what should I roll? What should I... See in here, I got a mixture of the creature panic and the cherry. So you can even see the cherry, like it has a darker color to it than the actual um, purple marmalade. But so fucking good, dude. Mm. Yeah, I love weed. All right. Love. Did I mention I love weed? Bam, bam. All right. Damn, looks like diamonds. You can just smell all the terpenes being released and off gassing to grind this up. Oh, yes. All right. So roll me something up. I'm glad that the reservoir went back to being normal. I don't know what caused that. So luckily, we're going to be able to talk to the rep who's going to be by hydroculture. So I'm going to meet up with him, do some videos with him, and try to get an answer. And possibly try to get them on the podcast because I think that would be super cool. I'm a huge fan of their what do you call it, nutrients, and definitely plan on continuing to use them. Mhm. Mhm. Bam, bam. All right, stand up, bitch. Keep your back straight, motherfucker. Yeah. Like I said, we've been doing the roller and it just packs it really heavy. This, even then I have it closed off, it's going to hit really nice. And now that I did the little twisty top, light it like a candle. I was actually taught that in Vegas. Always light it like a candle. Get nice and crisp. Yep, perfect. Blow, blow. Yeah, son. What? Nothing but flavor. What? Sign what Lacey's gonna make tonight for dinner. For dinner. Lacey, are you on here? You watching? Mm-hmm. You gonna tell us what you're making for dinner? Lacey, for those that don't know, is Mad Madam, and she makes fire dinners. Like she should be a chef. If she wasn't getting her psychology degree, she should be a chef. Next Wednesday, we have a local who's going to be here and on the show. So that's going to be pretty cool. And then we have a couple more people lined up coming up on the podcast. I also have a TEDx speaker. He's also going to be on the podcast coming on soon. So we got some really cool content coming your way. Plus, we're going to start the Grow series again upstairs in the Grow room and really bang out some cool stuff here. I got a lot of things planned and a lot of cool things coming your way. Plus, we're going to be doing a whole bubble hash thing. I'm going to show you how to do it traditionally with the manual method, which most people are going to. And we're going to make some fire bubble hash and just keep it really going. You know, my biggest thing is mental health and then home growing cannabis. And that's really the two focuses that I focus on. And that's really how I plan to really expand this. So expect to hear more stories and more growing. And that's pretty much the way we're going to play it here. So I am excited about Friday. I think it's going to be a really good time at the banquet and everything. I'm going to try to do some podcasts because I know there's going to be a couple of brothers there. Some of them are tattoo artists that I hope to see there. I actually need to reach out to. They're going to be there that night, and some of them have already been on the podcast. You hear that, honey? I was like, am I crazy? Nope, she heard too. I think Lacey's using the vacuum or something. Oh. Bam, bam. I will tell you this. This right here is a mixture of the, oh my God, look, I found a seed. I found a seed in it, dudes. All right, well, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to germinate that, do a little test on it. I just found a motherfucking seed. Well, no, why can't I find more? Actually, you know what? I'm glad I can't find more. Come on, just one more. So I can have a 50-50 split on if it's good or not. Well, that's pretty cool. And that's off the cherry. So I am tempted to see. It probably, I don't know. It looks good. we'll see what happens. Whoa. All right, let's see here. So pretty much what I have coming up, I'm pretty excited about. And then that's pretty much it. I'm actually really hungry right now, and that's why I'm a little bit distracted, because I need food. But no, we just have a lot of cool things going on. And next Wednesday is going to be really cool. It'll be finally good to have another local here. I also have what do you call it? The giveaway game coming back. So Madman's Wheel of Fun. So I'm gonna plan that out. So be on the lookout for that, and then also be on the lookout for the logo that I'm making for our event coming up, which will be very fun. And like I said, the little tidbit for you guys is that it's in Fredericksburg. And I'm going to be really, really excited about this because I think it's going to draw a huge crowd. And it's going to be better than our first event. And me and GI are going to be doing 2 events per year and really turning this into something very, very cool. So I'm just really excited about it. So sorry, I'm sorry, I seem a little bit like tired. I've been working since about 7 this morning, and then I just been here working, and then I got on the podcast. So it's just been a very busy day. So I'm kind of like dragging my heels here as it comes to a close. But no, I'm just very, very excited, and I just cannot wait to tell you guys more when the details are available about the event. It's going to be badass. Let's just put it that way. And this will definitely be a first. So, and I have to give all the credit to GI because he's the one that thought of this idea. So, y'all can thank him for the idea because this is cool and it's definitely gonna be different. So um, smoke weed every day. You know what? I have not turned that light on since I've gotten it. I had a remote over there. Nope. I don't even know where the remote went to it. It's supposed to light up and turn different things, but she gone. Also, I have a handful of these memorabilia pieces here from the event. These keychains. So when they give the select number quality away, they're made by Mythic Woodworks, but they were in the swag bags and they're really fucking cool. And they have a picture of GI, the alien, I mean the zombie, me, and Honey. Yeah, Honey's on it, and Honey will also be added to the Roadshow logo. So for next year when we're traveling, it's going to be the joint, me, and Honey because I travel around the world with my dog, my joint, and myself promoting mental health and awareness through cannabis education. So it's going to be really cool because now Honey will be a fixed part of it, not just on the logo on the thing. So when I design it, it's going to be really fucking cool. And just bringing it all together, because even Honey, if you've never met Honey, she has her own page. A little spoiler alert here. I always like saying this now for people who are like, oh, take off the mask, take off the mask. Why don't you take off the mask? And I'm like, hey, listen, you want to see me? You can go to Honey on Duty on Instagram and Facebook, and you'll see tons of me. Now, Honey's page is about Pitbull and service dog awareness. So, Honey's a shelter dog that came to me when we got paired together. We've been together for almost 2 years. in that time. Just this year alone, Honey's been just shy of 30 airplanes. Last year, she was on 10 airplanes. And Honey will be, by the end of this year, over 20 states in less than 2 years. And the first time I had her on a plane, it was 3 months after she came from the animal shelter. And she's just a rock star. This year, she traveled to California, to Arizona, to Massachusetts, to DC, to Maryland, to Illinois, to Vermont. Oh, wait, we weren't able to go to Vermont. New Jersey, Michigan, Connecticut was canceled. New York, Las Vegas for her second time this year will be coming up, and then also her second time for Oklahoma. So, Honey travels, and she is a every time we travel, and even in MJ BizCon and everywhere, all I fucking hear is Honey, and then like people just like rush to her. She is yeah, I'm talking about you right there, talking about you. And she's just a beacon of energy, dude. And she like it's cool because there's a lot of people obviously, losing your dog. Unfortunately, one day I'll even have to say goodbye to Honey, which breaks my heart. And they've had people who are like, hey, I just lost my dog. When we were in Vegas at a party last year, it was me and Lacey. We were at this mansion party, and this guy came up and he said, hey, can I pet your dog? And we were like, absolutely. And he's like, my dog died 2 weeks ago, and your dog being here gives me like the feeling and vibe like my dog's here. And he like totally, during a fully loaded party, just like broke down crying. And it was just crazy how like much emotion that Honey brings to people, like whether somebody's having a bad day or somebody's just it made their day. So it's really cool. So the next level of this is what me and Honey are going to do is we're going to start trying to visit like hospitals and nursing homes so people can meet Honey and learn a little bit about her story, and then she can give people hope and insight, and this follows along with my mental health advocacy and everything, because when you're a Mason, you do a lot for charities, you do a lot of homeless dinners, you do breakfast, you clean up the cemetery, you do a lot of different things. And then even outside of that, I do a lot of charitable stuff that I don't even record or even talk about. It's not really, I'm not using it for status, but my point is, we need to, as people, to really focus on the giving side, whether it's your time, your energy, a like, a follow, whatever. All of these are the building blocks to really pushing ourselves forward and building a better community. And I even have a hat coming, which I can't wait to wear. I thought I was going to be here today, but I made it myself. And what do you call it? It's not to make like a jab, but it's to make a real sense that things need to get better. People need to get better. The idea that we can grow and thrive and become more than we are, by changing just little things that we do each day that add up to big things. And as a person who has been in business for a long time by themselves and really has created a lifestyle and a living out of something that I love doing, and then being able to take that and then put it into this, is an incredible feeling. And it's one that, it's something that should be shared, something that should be appreciated, something that should be replicated, so other people are able to do the same thing, and I think a lot of times we have imposter syndrome, or we think that we're not good enough, or we think that we're not capable of certain things. And that's the wrong type of behavior. We need to be in the power seat, in the driver's seat of our own, future and emotions. And the fact that, we will get better because we are better, and we are better because we're making conscious efforts, whether it's something very small or something very big. The idea is it all makes a difference in the end. And when we talked about life being short earlier and all that other stuff, the biggest thing is hindsight's 2020. And that's what the beauty about, after a fact, because then you can analyze it. You can say, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I would have done this. Oh, but you go down this rabbit hole, and you got to get out of the sense where there is no rabbit hole. There is the truth and the reality of what you're dealing with, and the knowledge and intellect that you have to deal with it, whatever it may be. And I think a lot of us look at things like pyramids and skyscrapers, and if we were on the top looking down, it would look totally different. I think a lot of us, we want more, but the ability to actually do that and to stay consistent, that's a driving force in itself. And I think, the biggest thing we can do is try to influence other people to take risks, to take opportunities, to really maximize themselves, because it changes your way of thinking. It changes your way of living. It changes what's important to you and what's not important to you. It changes your morals, your values, of everything that you're doing. And by doing that, you're also like reprogramming, reconditioning yourself to live in like a higher standard of living for yourself. And like I said, when you have that tunnel vision, it's not about other people, it's about you and what you can get. Like in the game Grand Theft Auto, perfect example. We all want to get all the money, be able to do all the things in the game. But in the game, we have to work and do these things to add up so we can get to that level. Well, in life, we're not always adding up, and we're not always getting to that level. Some of us are staying stagnant. Some of us are taking leaps and bounds. Some of us are playing on the sideline. And I think the ability to recognize whatever you're going through and say, hey, just like in my speech, is to make a conscious effort to pursue life, to challenge life, to make the most out of it, because you're only getting what you put in. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I think that's also the longevity. So when you have haters, or you're getting attacked, or the world's not working for you, or people aren't seeing your value, or you feel like you're not being appreciated, or all these other things that come into like the negative space. Because when we talk about feelings, a lot of it have to do with internalization, and sometimes they're real internalizations, and sometimes they're what we think. And sometimes what we think and reality are two different things, and they're not just alike. And I think the biggest thing is what we were learning, listening to Lacey book that she's reading, is there's a thing called the super ego, and then you have the ego, and then you have the ID. The ID is like the aggressor, or the negative, or the outburst, or the emotion, or the noise, if you will. And then you have what your ego is. Your ego is they were referring to is like what you would do, your flight or flight mechanism. And then you have what's called a super ego, and that's what is like kind of attached to your conscious. And I'm saying this loosely to the more in-depth version of what she's talking about, but that's kind of the context of it. And with the super ego, that's like yourself saying, what, cool down, relax, don't react, it's cool, just let it go off your shoulder. Your ego is what's feeling it, and then the ID is the actual like what you're gonna do. And she could explain it way better, but it's just cool because you start to understand like it's all like a game. Like if I can control this, I can control that. And if it all like connects. And that's what I love about what she's learning, is it makes sense in so many applications, whether you're dealing with your family or your friends or your kids or whatever. You start to understand the greater concept of the experience of life, and what people are going through and experiencing, and how they are interpreting things. And it gives you a greater sense on how to work with people. And I think the biggest thing is that the idea is to be able to work with a lot of different type of people, especially if you're a quote unquote influencer, or if you're out there with your own brand or your own company, or you're putting yourself out there to dance in front of public, whatever it might be. You're going to be subject to a lot of different things. I think the biggest thing is knowing your true value, what you represent, what you actually bring to the table as a person, and then utilizing that space to really drive you, and really drown out the negative and the outside elements that really have nothing attached to you, and then go forward. So, I hope people take that as like kind of like a wisdom, because it really plays into how fast you can make your dreams happen. And some people, like my friend who spent 9 years in federal prison, started two companies, they both failed, now is a multimillionaire. Drives a Lamborghini, has 6 different cars, has a house in Colorado, goes on vacation 3 or 4 times a year. Just got back from a vacation, about to go on a winter cruise for like 3 weeks or whatever, living the life. But it didn't happen by accident. It didn't happen because the world thought that he deserved a break. He worked his ass off. He got himself out there. He did what he had to do, and he built his empire. And that's the thing, is you can do that. In 2020, he was dead broke. Today, he's a multimillionaire. It happens just that fast or that slow. The ability is, what are we putting in and what are we getting out of this? Are we really maximizing our input in this life? And how are we doing that? And what values are we getting out of that? So that's my biggest point to you guys, is it's less about how great you are. And the reality is it's more about who you're about and what you're about and what you can take. Because the thing is, life is just one of these things where it's a balance. It's an ebbs and flow. It truly is. And there's no breaking ground. Either you're seeing business, and that's the great thing about business, where being a true entrepreneur, for those that are and those that aren't, you know, being an entrepreneur, you are constantly living in the balance of whatever it is, whether it's finances, whether it's clients, whether it's opportunity, whether it's being able to make the right move and make the move, whether it's investing in this, whether it's bringing on a new employee, whether it's, doing this. So there's a lot of different things that are going on all at one time. The thing is, in the reality of small business entrepreneurship, there's no middle ground. So, see, in times of, like, for example, McDonald's, like, make everybody wants to complain about getting paid more that works at McDonald's, right? Well, I want my order to be right. And when my order is not right, it's like, well, why would that person get paid more? But the concept of what I'm trying to say is, it's the thought that, you know, you're putting yourself in a situation where your accountability and what you're able to provide maximizes your imprint. When it, like, let's start talking about like the job world, right? As an entrepreneur, whether you got the order right or wrong, there's a consequence. Whether you got the order right or wrong, they just correct the mistake at the cashier's, thing, that, and it moves on. And that, in the simple mistake of getting an order wrong, somebody could lose their entire business or their livelihood or everything that they've worked towards. And it may not even be their fault. It could be a variety of things. Somebody in their family, the main guy, has a sickness and dies, in a tragic situation like that. So there's a lot of different elements to that. And that's what people don't understand on the entrepreneur side, is it is a do or die, and I think that's where, people need to realize that when you put yourself out there, you want to maximize that imprint, because when it becomes to something that you want to do for a living, or something that you want to take extremely serious or move further into, you're going to need to understand that you either make it or break it. And sometimes you do break it, sometimes you do make it. It's going to be a balance. There are days where you're going to love what you do, and there are days that you're going to hate what you do. But when you take accountability on the entrepreneur side, when you're not riding under the wing of somebody else or a support, it's on a lot different, rougher ride. And I think, the biggest thing is understanding that, hey, if I have the desire to be great and to do something wonderful, then I need to take that opportunity now. And whether it's dancing in public or, becoming the president of the United States, whatever, it shouldn't matter. It's your dream, it's your vision. You can do what you want with it, and that's the value. So, my little rant again, But no, it's this ability of really trying to maximize imprint, and I really think that there's a lot of great people out there who really could do wonders. And if you develop the discipline, the workflow, the ethics, the morals that it takes, I mean, you can set yourself free in so many ways. Like it's unbelievable, but it takes not sitting on the sidelines. It takes direct initiative action towards whatever it is that you want and really nailing that every single time. So that is my thought. But wherever you fit in the spectrum of life, you fit perfectly. And that's also something you got to realize. It doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. As long as you love life, you're a good person, you have good values, I think that's pretty much, what it takes to be an awesome person. It's not about any other thing or any other metric. And I think that's also where we get tongue tied too, is it's all about likes or it's all about influence, all about this. No, it's all about your genuine self. And when you're being genuine, people see that, people vibe that, people appreciate that. And here's the thing. It's just like fine whiskey. Not everybody's gonna like it. It's all right. The biggest thing is remember tunnel vision. What was your mission? What was your dream? What was your purpose of starting whatever it was? And then how does that take you to that next level and that next level? And it becomes a thing of who, not how. And Who, not how is a book. And it talks about it's not about the process of how we do it. It's who we meet, the influences that we have, the connections, the resources, the people that see our vision and want us to take it to the next level. So, you know, dream big, have ambition and really pursue life. You will one day on your deathbed be very glad that you did that because we're going to have tons of time to wait. And I don't want to sit there and think of regret. I want to sit there and be like, damn, I fucking lived, dog. And that's the plan. And that's the way we plan to do it. So it's going to be awesome. You just got to stick with it. Consistency, persistence is key. And that's the biggest thing. Is you got to stick with it. So, bam, bam. But seriously, this event coming up is going to be primo. So we're gonna have a lot of vendors, and like I said, it's going to be very, very cool. Please pay attention to all the details. There will be a sign up form and everything like that. So, um, yeah, I mean it's going to be awesome. Me and GI rocking the house. I'm about to finish this off, and then I'm about to hightail it out here because I'm fucking starving. And I'm hoping Lacey made me something good, but she didn't respond. So let's see here. See what she's doing. I'm trying to get her on the podcast to tell her story. She said soon, but we shall see. Oh, my dad called. Noise. But anyways, my dudes, I'm gonna kick it off here. We will see you guys on Sunday for MadMan Plant on Sunday. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you guys real soon. Peace.